Alright, students, fine. A very special good evening to one and all. Alright, it seems as if it was yesterday that we had planned to begin with this bootcamp of 40 days, and we are at today all the midway. Okay, day 20 of the data analytics bootcamp. Very much welcome to all of you. Alright, as usual, the way we always start with a quick recap of what we have learned in the past class. Alright, that was intensive coding session 2 yesterday, and mostly today will be intensive coding session 3. That will be final session. Alright, tomorrow onwards we will continue with the rest part of Python which is remaining. That's most probably Flask programming, NumPy, Pandas and so on. Python session of the bootcamp, we will most likely end by developing one tic-tac-toe or a ping-pong kind of game in a sort of a project, so that you gain confidence of a programming language. Alright, since I can understand for most of you this could be the very first programming language we have introduced to, or you have yourself introduced to. Alright, fine. In the session yesterday we spent a lot of time behind the concept of Pascal triangle. Alright, try to give your hands on, try to come up with a logic even better than that. Alright, but as I told you yesterday, there are even many more ways in which the Pascal triangle program can be implemented. Alright, that was one of the method. Okay, later half of the class yesterday we have I think also moved on to understand some other concepts. Is it right? I don't exactly remember the programs, but there were some few of them. Is that correct? Fine. Okay, I think they were list based and tuple based, that is finding out the numbers in the tuples who are more than 50, or in the list who is divisible by 2 and so on. Alright, fine. Starting here with the session today, we will begin with some pattern based program like this. Okay, here we go. Some pattern based programs. Okay, so these are the pattern based programs. For example, let me take a notepad file, okay? Let me take a notepad file. Say I want to create this kind of pattern. Star, 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 star and star. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Somewhat this is also a similar kind of Pascal triangle logic, but it is yet simpler one. The beginning of the program is same, that is we have to accept the number of rows to be inputted from the user. You could see in this special program the number of rows are total 5. So let me call it as n is equal to 5. Or now all eyes on each row and the number of columns each row has. Is it right? So if you could see, row 1 has column also 1. Check it out, there's only one star here. Correct? Similarly, row number 2 has column 2. Right? Row number 2 has columns also 2. Row number 3 has columns also 3. Likewise, row number 5 has column also 5. Is that correct? Fine. Now, so what we will do is we will once again, we'll actually code this program in 2 ways. Method number 1, it will involve 2 for loops. ये 2 for loop involve करेगा. One for loop will create row, and the second for loop, which will be the inner for loop, it will create column for that row. Please, I repeat one more time. The first for loop will create the row. Say when you're creating row number 1, before going to row number 2, you first have to create columns of row number 1. Then go to row number 2 after completing the columns of row number 1. So row number 2 will create columns of row number 2 first before going to row number 3. Right? So iterating between row will need one loop, and iterating between columns of the individual row will need the second loop. So here we go. See. Say n is equal to int input, enter the number of rows. Yeah, I'm writing here in Notepad. We'll be pasting into Python, don't worry. Okay, the reason I'm writing in Notepad, since that picture is above you, that above this line, and it can be easily interpreted during dry run. Okay, never mind. So for I in range, let me run the range from 1 to say 6. Okay, why? I'm so sorry. 6 was my assumption. Say let me run the loop from 1 to n plus 1. Okay, the reason why n plus 1, because if I write n and suppose n is 5, it will go till 4, row number 4. Is that correct? Fine. So or else you want, you can start it from 0. That's your choice. So 0 to n or 1 to n plus 1. What is to be done? Say for j in range, that means for each I taking a particular value, we will first iterate in its columns, correct? So for the j in range 1 to I, hoping you're understanding, 1 to I. Should I write I plus 1 or just I? Let's check. Okay, for j, say what is to be done? Let's see there. So in the first iteration, there's a disturbance here. Somebody is asking. Yeah, let me check. Is there any chat messages here? No, there isn't. I hope I have not disabled the chat, because I could see them in my mobile phone, but not here. Guys, sorry for this disturbance. Just a moment, please. I'm unable to see the chat. Okay, never mind. Sorry, my friend. I'm unable to see the chat. I don't know what it is. Anyways, let's continue. Let's not waste our time. Okay. So when what will happen in the first loop? Tell me. Loop number 1. When I will be 1, because we are starting this range from 1, correct? So when I is 1, we also have to start j from 1 till that I. Is that correct? I think we should write here I plus 1. That makes sense. Okay, because I is 1 right now. 1 plus 1 will make 2. Correct? So for j in the range 1 to 2. So first value of j will be 1. Is 1 less than 2? Yes, 1 is less than 2. What to be done in that case? Print asterisk. Am I right? That is print asterisk. Now why am I running j till I? Inner for loop को कहाँ तक run करना है? I तक run करना है. Why? When I is 1, that means it is at row number 1. And at row number 1, column will be equal to row number only. Correct? For example, row number 2, check the diagram up. Row number 2 are having exactly 2 columns. Row number 3 are having exactly 3 columns. So यहाँ पर I will be 1, means it is row number 1. यहाँ पर I is 2, means this is row number 2. I is 3, means row number 3. I is 4, means row number 4. I will be 5, means row number 5. Is that correct? So for each I, we have to start j also from 1 to I. Is it correct? So in this row, j will run from good evening, Krishna. Good evening. I could see your message now. Okay. For I, when I was 1, so j will start from 1 till 1. When I is 2, j will take 2 values in the inner loop. That is, j will be equal to 1 first, then j will be equal to 2. Is it right? When I is equal to 3, so again it will take 3 values. So j equals 1, j equals 2, and j equals 3. Is it right? When I will be 4, j will take 4 values. J equal 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm writing in short. And similarly, when I will be 5, j will take 5 different values. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hoping you're getting it. Alright, that's the reason we are running the loop. J को भी inner loop को भी 1 से start करते हुए कहाँ तक जाना है कोई fix नहीं है. हर row के लिए j के number of iterations are different. That is still I. Okay, we are writing I plus 1 because we want loop to traverse till I. Is that correct? Simple. Print asterisk. Alright, fine. Okay, let's run. Let's run and check what happens. Alright, I copy this code. Control C. This is my Jupyter notebook already open. Control V. Let us run. Okay, enter the number of rows, say 5. Alright, this is expected because print, as you know, by default ends with a new line character. Okay, if you use print and in the loop, if again next print is used, so next print will show the output on the next line. Am I right? So let's say do not end print with a new line, instead add with space. Okay, that means इसके बाद में अगला print should be continued with a space. Say run. Okay, number of rows, let me call it as 5. It is still going to misbehave because okay, let me run this one more time. Control A, Control C. For a moment, if I could go to idle. My Jupyter lab at times runs too slow. That's the reason I came here. Okay, otherwise, there was no issue. Right? Now, what happens is when you give connected with space, not with a new line, all the asterisks are shown in one line. How can we prevent that now? So, for that not to happen, let us say every time when you start a new row, give a new line. Okay? Give a new line. So, let us say it works. Oh, that works fine, I think. Is it right? So give me the dry run. Come on. How will it work? Give me one simple dry run. Control A, Control C. If I could bring this program here. Okay, come on. Suppose N is 5. Okay, this is a simple dry run. N is equal to 5. When the loop starts, loop I is in range what? 1 to n plus 1, correct? N plus 1 means it is running from 1 to 6. Alright. And J will be running from where to where? So J is in range 1 to I plus 1. Alright. That we will see. Let us first take till loop. So in loop number 1, come on, in loop number 1, I will be 1. 1 is less than 6. It will go inside. And for I1, J will iterate from 1 to 2. Correct? Because I plus 1 is 2. Right? So here I am writing J will iterate. J will be in range for 1 to 2. So J is equal to 1. What to do? Yeah, 1 is less than 2. Print star. Alright, so star will be printed here, and then it will connect the next print with a space. But unfortunately, J will become 2, and 2 is not less than 2. So we will come out of the inner for loop. Correct? When you come out of the inner for loop, you will go back to outer for loop. I will increase from 1 to 2. Correct? These pattern-based programs are always very good to boost the logic. It forces you to think. Okay, so in loop number 2, I will be equal to 2 and 2 is less than 6, right? Check I in the range 1 to 6. Yeah, so 2 is less than 6. Right. So for I is equals to 2, J will vary from 1 to I plus 1, that is 3. Come on, start J with 1. अच्छा, उसके बाद क्या होगा? सबसे पहला I increment होकर you will first go to next line. Means the next row will be printed on next line. Correct? So this is a line break when you change the row. When you change the row, this is how the line break takes place. Please post your doubts in the chat. Post your doubts in the chat so that I could answer you. Alright. So next, what can we write? For loop number 2, first J will be 1, star will be printed. Then J will be 2, 2 is less than 3, star will be printed on the same line because it is connected by space. But J will become 3 and 3 is not less than 3, we will come out. Is that correct? Fine. Then loop number 3, I will increment to 3 and 3 is still less than 6. Right? What to do? J will vary in the range of 1 to 4 this time, 3 plus 1. correct? And after increasing I from 2 to 3, that means before changing the row, we will have to give one line break, as we have written a print here, correct? Immediately when the row changes, first give a line break, and in the same column connect the stars with spaces, right? That is the meaning. So J will be 1, J will be 2, J will be 3. Let me write in short here, 2 and 3. So 3 stars will be printed. Okay, let me stop the dry run here, hoping people have understood that. Fine. In loop number 4, I will be 4 and J will be 5. 4 is less than 6 and J will start from 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I right? At 5 it will be false, and so on. Correct, right? So this way we will be printing this program. Alright, okay, what if I want to print this kind of output? Check. I said, what if we want to print this kind of output? Where's my presentation? Here it is. Okay, what if I want to print this kind of output? Yeah, if you can see here, all dollars. So that's fine. Instead of star, you want them as dollar. Is that correct? So this is some kind of triangle that it starts from 1, it increases the number of columns in each row. Then after reaching row number 5, it decreases the number of columns. Alright, I draw them as two separate triangle, upper half and lower half. You write a single program which will combine them both. Okay, let's make the changes to this program as well. Okay, let's make changes in only this program. Okay, where are we? Let me come to Jupyter notebook. But that is hand. Okay, never mind. I'll come back to here. Okay, say. Let us start from I in the range of 5 to, let's say, 0. Is that correct? Here we have to travel -1. That means we want to decrease it. I think this will be same for j in the range of 1 till I plus 1. Let's check what it is. Enter the number. It's 5. Good. It's working. Okay. Carefully observe what we did. We started I 5. For j, you need not to change the inner for loop. Because inner for loop has to start from 1 till the row number, right? I repeat one more time. Inner for loop has to start printing stars or dollars or any symbol from 1 till the row number. So if you start with 5, am I right? So this time 5, if it is the row number, so stars on the row number 5 should also be 5. Correct? So this time we are going ulta, up and down. From top to bottom, printing 5th row first, then 4th row, then 3rd row, then 2nd row, and then 1 row. Okay, so now you try to combine this two program and print one single triangle that starts from 1 to 5 and then from 5 to 1. Alright, fine. Okay, fine, good, cool class. Let's quickly have a look into another code which could raise your chances of logic building more. That is a Fibonacci series. Very quickly we will be able to complete it. What's a Fibonacci series first of all? Okay, for some of my friends who are very new to coding here, Fibonacci series. Firstly, it starts with 0, 1. Always remember. Fibonacci series always starts with two constant numbers, 0 and 1. Most of the programs and most of the programmers often hard code these two numbers in the series to be printed. We don't use any logic to generate the first two numbers of the Fibonacci. But from 3rd number onwards, it's a logic building part. The code must calculate the 3rd number onwards and print it. Because the 3rd number onwards in the Fibonacci series, it's a sum of the immediate previous two. Right? For example, 0 plus 1 is going to generate the 3rd number, which is 1. Now, who are the last two numbers in the series? 1 and 1. So whoever is the last two number will generate the new number, that is 2 this time. Who are the last two numbers? 1 and 2, that will generate the next number 3. Who are the last two numbers? 2 and 3. That will generate the next number 5 in the series. Now who are the last two numbers? 3 and 5, which will generate 8. 5 and 8 are the last two, which will generate 13. 13 and 8 are the last two, which will generate, if I'm not wrong, 21. And the list goes on. Alright, fine. So the first step in Fibonacci also would be to accept from the user how many total number of terms he wants in the series. Alright, because this way if you continue, it will go endless. Am I right? You just keep on adding the last two number and keep generating the next number. So that will make program to go in an infinite loop. So better we ask from the user as input that how many number of terms would you like to display in the Fibonacci series. Correct? Fine. Let's go this way. So let's write at least this first part of the code. If you don't mind, let me just take a notebook. Okay. Okay, fine. So n is equal to, just write, some people who are texting me in person. The reason why, because I'm unable to see the chat today. Okay, never mind. Fine. Int, that's input. Enter the total number of terms in Fibonacci. Okay, fine. Now remember one thing. Suppose if user enters, say he wants 10 terms, you have to write for loop only till 8. That means to iterate till 8. You know why? Because the first two terms, 0 and 1, there we go. The first two terms we are going to hard code in the program. Right? So if he wants to display 10 terms, we will only calculate from 3rd to 10. So the first two are going to be hard coded. Right? So how will we will go about it? How? Say A is equal to 0, B is equal to 1. Print A, comma B. Okay, run the program to you. Run it. If I could say run. Say I want total 10 terms. Okay, it is printing only the first two now. Right, so what we will do is we will keep these first two out of the loop. So say for I in range 1 to n minus 1. Correct? Why n minus 1? Suppose if n is 10, by writing 9, don't write 8. Alright, because if you write 8 here, it will run till 7. Correct? Tell me, what am I saying? Is it right or not? Say if the total number of terms he wants is 10. So we can't write directly 8 because this is not less than equal to 8. This is less than 8. So go till n minus 1. Hoping the another way is could be using while loop as well. Like while I is less than or equal to n minus 2, because while loop allow us to use less than equal to. But it's your choice. You work in your way, the way you feel comfortable. Alright, for I in range 1 to n minus 1. Let's take another variable here called as c is also equal to 0. I have taught you in one of the session in the past that how can you assign a value, how can one assign multiple values to multiple variables together, or how multiple variables can be initialized together, that a comma b comma c, that is 0 comma 0 comma 0 or 0 comma 1 comma 0, whatever. So for I in this range 1 to n minus 1, first of all let's say c is equals to a plus b, because now onwards first of all who are the last two terms in this series, 0 and 1. So the next number will be generated by calculating or adding the last two numbers, that is a plus b. Print c. Is it right? So it's a 0 1. 0 1 when added will generate 1. Correct? Suppose the series is still here. But now who are the last two terms? Tell me, who are the last two terms now? Correct? 1 and 1 are the last two terms. So what we have to do is we have to swap the values of A and B in the Fibonacci. This is the central logic of Fibonacci, swapping the numbers. Let's say this was A and this was B. And say adding A plus B we generated C. So now the new A and B will be 1 and 1. Am I right? So the one who used to be C will now become B, and the one who was B will now act as A, so that A plus B in the loop can generate C. Okay? How would we do that? Print C first. Okay? Let A is equal to B and B is equal to C. That's swapping. Existing B is assigned to A and existing C is assigned to B. So A and B have swapped their values. Hoping you understand. Is that right? So give me the dry run here itself. See, first when I is equal to 1, what was A and what was B? A was 0, B was 1, and C will be equal to A plus B, that is 0 plus 1. That's nothing but 1. When I is 2 in the second line, when I is equal to 2 and 2 is less than our assumed value of n, 10 minus 1, that is 9. Yep, 1 is less than 9. Correct? Or the last iteration has swapped the values of A and B. Correct? Let me show you the swap values here. Swapped values are C is now B and B is now A. So A is 1 and B is also 1. Correct? So A is 1 and B is 1. So C will be equal to 1 plus 1, that is 2. Correct? In the third loop, when I is equal to 3, B will be equal, let me say A will be equal to B, that is 1. And B will be equal to C, which is nothing but 2. So C will be equal to 1 plus 2. That's nothing but 2. Hoping you understand. Clear. This way it will go till I is equal to 8. Because when I becomes 9, 9 will not be less than 9. 9 will be equal to 9, and that would be the time to come out of the loop. Alright, this is how Fibonacci program is written. The logic is constructed. Let's run to see whether it shows the correct output or not. Okay, enter the total number of terms you want in Fibonacci. Say 10. Okay, 0, 1, and the rest numbers are generated. Okay, what you want, if you want these all on the same print statement, let me write end is equals to space here. Run once, we will need it again. 10. Okay, so let me write it as here again. So C, comma, end is equal to space. See, we want total terms as 10. Oh, never mind. You can give a space after C. How do you do that? So space, and then connect the next print, since all the numbers looks to crumble there. So let me say run. That's it. Okay, enter the total number of terms in Fibonacci. So let me say 10. Okay, fine, that makes sense. So 0, 1, 1. In between 2, 1, the space is required. You can give where you have written print A, B, space, and so on. Hoping you understand. Okay? Alright, fine. Fine, students, fine. Okay. I think that's all about logic building sessions that we put into revision. This will be most probably the last logic building program for revision we will bring into end today. Okay, There are some file handling programs whom we want to revise too. Hmm? Let's do one thing. Let's learn them tomorrow. Is that fine? Okay. Or day after tomorrow, or whenever we find time in between. As I'm into some middle of the work today, so would like to end the session. All right. Never mind. Let's quickly put together all that we have seen. That is, we started with. Please. Okay. We started with. Okay. Fine. We started with some pattern-based program, that is printing the dollars and some asterisk. Then we moved on to Fibonacci series. Alright, that was nothing but every next term will be the sum of the last two terms. Hoping you will understand. Fine, by the time I see you back tomorrow, please enjoy and love coding. Okay, make your future secure by learning analytics, data science, AI, ML, a lot many things to come up here with us. Alright, do help us to subscribe our channel. Do spread the news of these all stuffs which are being done to your other of your friends who are desperate to learn coding, as we are offering them all absolutely free. Hoping you understand. Right? See you back tomorrow, and make sure that you're attending live with me the sessions of numpys and pandas, because that's too important when we start with analytics. Okay. Goodbye. Take care. Welcome. Okay, Deval. Thank you. Welcome.